Hello. This is kind of a brief description on my time and experiences with the in the last 15 weeks with the public speaking class. Just kind of want to briefly describe like my attitudes before. Before I was very comfortable with public speaking. Back in high school and a little bit in college, I did some theater, so was very comfortable going up in front of crowds and just kind of saying lines. However, that was kind of one of my, I guess, setbacks when it came to public speaking in the real world. I was always used to kind of just reading a script, memorizing lines, and going up there and playing a character. Very much different from being yourself in a personal setting or having to do something like present a presentation for work or anything like that. So my attitude before was very positive, but I was aware of like some of my weaknesses with public speakings. And I guess that's some of like the apprehensions I did feel. Was very comfortable doing it, but kind of scared having to produce my own stories, as you could say. Um, when I had to realize that I was taking this course, I was very comfortable doing it, as I kind of already kind of went over. I'm trying to get a degree in communications, so I know that entails a lot of classes that have to do with public speaking or just learning how to communicate, learning how to present, learning how to listen, stuff like that. Um, and then let's get into some of these questions that I kind of already pre-wrote for me myself. The assignment I felt like I find the most interesting was the persuasive assignments, not just doing my own, but kind of reading and I guess the aspect of watching and replying to everyone else's speech. You know, I've taken some speech classes before in my previous college experience, and it was just getting up in front of either a small class or a big class and just presenting. There was no feedback. There was no anything other than the teacher. Maybe like a week later doing that. But the assignments I found more intriguing was the persuasive, but most useful was kind of viewing all the speeches. Even if it was the basic toast or kudos speech, just kind of giving someone a pat on the back, just seeing how people do things differently, or think differently was very useful, with applying that stuff to like when we have to write for a certain audience, or we know who our audience is going to be. We can either already kind of expect how they're going to react or stuff like that. Some of the challenges I face are kind of already briefly touched on. That was kind of producing my own content to speak, give us a speech about, and kind of wondering if it was coherent or wondering if it was going to make sense at all or anything, whether it was the informative or persuasive or like a simple biography speech about myself. That's what I feel like I faced the most challenges in. A lot of the courses I didn't expect were going to touch up on like how to write for your audience and stuff like that. So that's how I think I'll apply my skills in the future that I've learned from this course, is just apply like really listening rather than like just worrying about going up there and speaking. You want to speak to, or you want to say stuff people are going to listen to, I guess. Long story short, strengths and weaknesses as a public speaker, kind of already went over that. But I'm definitely comfortable going up in front of a crowd. I feel like I can project. I feel like I can articulate very well. And not be too boring. I'm not going to go up there monotone and stuff like that. So I think I do that real well. Weaknesses, other than the nerves that I think we all get, you can visually see my leg shake. If, you could see me full body giving a presentation, stuff like that. But weaknesses would be kind of worrying about like that I'm not listening to the audience too well, not like applying what I need to apply in a correct way, I guess, for lack of a better explanation there. Definitely feel more confident in public speaking. I've always felt confident in all my life, as far back as I can remember as a child, getting up there and making a fool of myself in front of some people. So definitely feel more confident. Because of this course though, definitely going to be more confident in a work setting. Because I'm trying to pursue this degree, I am trying to pursue different degrees or different jobs that require degrees and stuff like that, require me to present in front of a large crowd or be in charge of a whole team, be a leader, so to speak. I do believe this should be a requirement. To kind of touch up on my last thought here, gone a little bit over on my time, but I do believe it should be a requirement, especially in today's day and age. I am taking a popular culture and communication class alongside with this public speaking class. It's interesting to see how those two classes have tied in together. In this digital age, so much communications online. It's important not to lose touch of like our base communication skills as human being, which is face to face, which is listening and speaking to one another and to groups and stuff like that. So definitely think it should be a requirement. Thank you so much for listening.